The purpose of these videos is to orient you to what components look like and how you act on them. If you haven't viewed the Watch Me First video, please do that first, as it lets you know what to expect. In this video, we first cover managing the project as a whole. This means managing the project files, backing up and moving projects, keeping up to date, and various outputting and exporting capabilities. Then we discuss the generic actions common to all components that we have been postponing until you're familiar with the components. This includes creating and renaming a component, searching through the whole project, and finally reviewing some of the actions that can be done on any component in the same generic way: writing, sorting, and visualizing in maps and charts. In Chapter 5, you read about managing the project as a whole. Upon opening NVivo, you see the welcome screen from where you can open up one of the sample projects to experiment with, access support resources from the QSR website, the help menu, and video tutorials. Any recently opened projects are listed down the left-hand panel for quick access. When you create an NVivo project, it's saved as one file wherever you choose to save it. So I'll just create a new blank project and give it a name. And if I want to change its location, then I can just choose the Browse button and select where I want it to be saved. I can add a description for the whole project and choose to write user actions to the project event log. That means that NVivo will remember all of the software operations I undertake so that I can look back and see that later. The project file I've just created is going to contain everything with two important exceptions: when you're working with audio or video files, and when you use external files. The default setting is that audio and video files will be contained within the project file unless they're larger than 20 megabytes. You can change this size setting in the application options, which you access from the File menu. And here you can see the default size for media files in the project, which I can change if I need to. Any media files that are larger than the size that you specify will appear as if they're in the NVivo project, and you'll be able to work with them in the same way as if they were, but they actually remain stored outside of the NVivo project, which reads them from their external location. This means that you need to know where they are and make sure that they're not moved or edited outside of NVivo after you've started working with them inside NVivo. The other exception is when working with external files. You know from Chapter 5 and the video about NVivo sources, which are now called files in version 12, that externals enable the creation of files within NVivo that represent and are optionally linked to external files or websites. If you work in this way, then you'll be able to open the externally linked files from within NVivo, but just like large audio and video files, they're not contained within the NVivo project file. I'll just create one quickly to represent a piece of literature I want to review. Having named the file as I want it to appear inside NVivo, then in the External tab, I choose whether I'm linking to a file on my computer, a website, or something else. I'm going to take the file link, hit the Browse button, and tell NVivo where this file is. This creates an empty space within NVivo where I can write, but there's also a link to the file that I've connected to, and I can access that by opening the external file. Apart from these two exceptions, every component, is contained within one NVivo project file that you save when creating the project. If you're not working with large audio or video files or using externals, it's therefore very easy to manage that file. If you are, then you need to ensure that you know where everything is and that the links to the external files are not broken. The easiest way to accomplish this is to store all the unembedded media files and external files in the same folder on your computer as the NVivo project file. This will mean that the links are less likely to get broken and that moving and sharing NVivo projects is straightforward, which is what I'll now go on to discuss. Backing up and moving projects to another computer or sending a project to another person all mean the same thing to NVivo and are done in the same way, by creating a copy of the project. I do that from the File menu. You can see that the project I'm copying is the one I currently have open, and I have the choice to copy it to a Windows, Mac or server project. If I'm copying this project as a simple backing up procedure to safeguard my work or to capture a stage of work before moving analytic direction, then I would make a copy as the same type I'm working on, in this example as an NVivo 12 for Windows project. I need to hit the Browse button to specify where to save the copy, which should be a different location from where the working version is located, so perhaps on an external hard drive. I'm just going to save it on Dropbox. I'll name it in such a way that I know it's a backup. When I click OK, NVivo creates the copy and I then continue working on the version that I was already using. The backup is saved to go back to if needed. If I'm creating a copy to move to another computer or to share with a colleague, then all I need to do is to send that NVivo project file to my colleague or move it to the other computer and open it. Remember that if it relies on any unembedded audio or video files or any externals, then those files would also need to be moved to the other computer or given to my colleague as well. This is another reason why it's advisable to store all the unembedded media files and external files in the same folder on your computer as the NVivo project file. Keeping up to date is similarly effortless. NVivo simply lets you know when a free update is available when you open the program, and you can go ahead and let it update. If you want to check yourself if there are any updates, you can do that from the File menu under Help. You'll see that there are currently no software updates available, but if there were, NVivo would tell you, and you could go straight to the website to download the update. When updating NVivo for Windows, you'll need to know whether your computer operating system is 32 or 64-bit. You can easily find this out from the Start menu by right-clicking on Computer and choosing Properties, which brings up this window, and you can see that my computer is a 64-bit operating system, but yours might be 32-bit. The point is that you need to download the update for the right operating system. The available exports and outputs of the program are in a few categories. In version 12, there is a main menu called Share, where there are several export and output options. We already discussed the Copy Project option. I showed you how to do this from the File menu, but you can see it's also possible from here. In addition is the Export Project option, which is slightly different in that this allows you to export selected components to a new NVivo project rather than copying everything in the currently open project. You'll see that when I hit the Select button, I can choose which components I want to export to open up in another project. The Export option allows you to output the content of selected components in a list view, or the content of a component that is open in the detail view. I happen to be looking at a list for nodes currently, but the same option is available whichever list view or detail view is on display. I'll just show that with the Moral Discourses top-level parent node. If I choose to export that one, then I can choose the format I want it to be saved in. I'll take the reference view so it opens up in a Word file. I'll include the properties and other options that I want. And if I open on Export and click OK, then NVivo will create and save a Word file and open it up for me. The Export List option will output the information currently on view in the list view. I'll do that from a different folder, export the list. Again, I have options for saving in different formats, but I'll take the default Excel file, and it shows me in Excel all the information in that list view. Both those options, Export and Export List, are also available by right-clicking on a component. As you can see when I hover over the Export Codebook option, this will export a list of the nodes with their description, which you can share with colleagues or print off in hard copy. I can choose which areas of the coding schema I'm interested in right now, and also include the number of files and references currently associated with each node. In addition are reports and extracts. Reports contain information about the NVivo project that you can view and print. And extracts allow you to output collections of data to a different application in order to work with it outside of NVivo. There are several predefined reports and extracts that you can run, or you can build your own at any time. In this video, I'll just show you one predefined report and one predefined extract. In fact, I'll show you the same predefined option for each, so that you can see the difference between reports and extracts. As well as being able to access reports and extracts from the Share main menu, we've also got an area in the navigation view for each, and that's where I'll start this off. I'm going to choose the Coding Summary by Code report, which is a predefined report which I can just select or filter the options I want. I'm just going to take a particular code by checking the tick box and hitting select, and I will choose a particular area of my coding schema. I'll take all of the nodes that are sitting underneath the moral discourses hierarchy and click OK, and various other options, but I'll just keep it simple for now and just click OK. And you'll see that the report is displayed within NVivo's detail view, and this is showing every coded segment for each of the nodes that I asked for. I can export this to save it outside of NVivo, and then I can print or share it. But you'll see that this report is in tabular format, in the sense that each coded reference and each other element of the report is in a different cell within a table. So although this is useful for printing and considering outside of NVivo, it's not very easy to edit it if the purpose was to start writing up results using some coded references. I'll now go to the extracts area and run a coding summary by node extract to show you something very similar but a different format. So I'm going to select the same set of nodes, and this time NVivo is going to save the output outside of the software rather than display it within the software. Again, I've got different choices for the format I want it in, and this time, because I asked to save it as a text only file, then you'll see that I've got all of the coded references available as text.